Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the season finale of Beyond. A great season finale with a lot of stuff that went down in it, and we're going to break down bit by bit. First of all, obviously we have the whole thing going down at the Matthews home, which I wasn't expecting that the video would still be playing by the time Holden got there, because they didn't say anything immediately, but I guess they were trying to give him time to process and everything. They were just like, okay, were you rushing here? Like, oh my god, we didn't know where you were. So I was like, because last episode I was like, oh, are they going to tell him that they know, or they're going to keep it a secret? But it's like, nope, Holden sees it playing in the back. They're like, we want to know the truth. He's like, I don't know where to start. It's like, that's a lot to kind of break down to your parents. But obviously he's got to worry about Diego and the others. You even have Charlie not having his back in a sense, because he's like, no, I got these powers. You don't know what I can do. Like, back me up here, Charlie. But Charlie was like, I don't want to see you hurt, because still in the back of her mind, she's worried about the whole, like, him dying thing. So it still got her a little freaked out. It was a crazy showdown between the two of them in this, when it finally came down to, I mean, for one, Tom got stabbed, and Diego was about to shoot him, but Holden knocking the bullets away, and then taking the final bullet and then knocking it back into the gun was pretty sick. But I like that even with superpowers and everything, it still is a bit of a fist fight, because it's just the pushing and punching. I mean, it's like going crazy. I even like Holden throwing the chair, and Diego dodges it, and just kind of like, oh, and then all of a sudden, the piano comes and slams him against the wall, and you see the smile across Holden's face, like, gosh, you stupid bastard. It's like, yeah. Which I guess that also shows that he isn't as strong as he was, because, like, it seemed like he was a lot better at handling himself against Holden before. But this time it's like, no, like, Holden definitely had the upper hand this time. Especially when he flung Diego up into the ceiling like that. But what really got me is when he stuck his hands inside of Holden's face like that. I was like, that kind of makes your skin crawl. Essentially, it was trying to take control of Holden, because I guess it felt like if it was in Holden's body, not only, I mean, would it even be that much stronger because it'd have Holden's abilities, but no one could do anything because it's like, well, it's in Holden's body unless they wanted to kill Holden. Luckily, Charlie and Holden were able to kind of push him into the freezer. I thought that was going to turn a lot uglier than it was going to need to be, like with the whole Diego possessing him thing. But lo and behold, he got pushed inside the realm, and I guess the creatures from whatever the darkness that they're from, like, they were pulling him back in or something, or is that the realm manifesting itself of being like, oh, here we are, I'm grabbing you and dragging you back into the prison that you're from, or the world. You know, I'm curious, like they had brought it up before that they were born from the darkness, so I guess, like, inside the realm, like, where all darkness is born, maybe that's kind of where they're from. Kind of like if I could compare it to anything, like Kingdom Hearts, like, where Heartless are just from the darkness, maybe that's what that type of situation is, so. What's also interesting, too, is the moment he left Diego's body, I mean, to be fair, Diego was in a coma first, but I guess, like, everything, like, basically, he's more like a puppet marionette. It's kind of what Diego's body was. And it's like his body was most likely dead from all the stuff it's been through, like being flung through the windshield, being beaten the crap out of, shot and stuff like that. But it kept going because, you know, it doesn't bother feeling pain or whatever, so. So luckily that was dealt with, and Holden was able to find his way back, so. Then on top of all that, you had the whole situation between fake FBI and Hollow Sky, because we ended up hearing the conversation from Borden, or her real name is Eleanor. We find out she isn't some government-officiated group. It's not like they're, like, really with the FBI, but they're just, like, this, like, occult branch. It's like, no, they're not associated with any government organization. It seems like they're just some kind of radical group. And it's interesting finding out the reasoning. It seems like it's all about population. It's like, well, eventually this world's going to become overpopulated and just limited resources. And it's like, what we're going to do is use the realm. Can you imagine a world where we don't have to worry about this stuff? We can all live peacefully and stuff like that, which is like, which we already know the realm is a world you should be stepping into. I mean, that's the question, is like, how did they know about the realm? It seems like that's a tight-knit secret. The only people that know about it were Frost. That's why Hollow Sky knows about it. And then there's Arthur. So are these people who were connected to Hollow Sky back in the day, like its earlier days? Because I feel like she's got to be someone. Well, no, Arthur didn't necessarily look like he recognized her, so it might be someone that Frost knew way back in the day, but maybe it's someone that Frost kind of kicked out and she was kind of pushed out into the cold or whatever, you know? I mean, because that's something interesting, really kind of bringing that up real quickly. Like, we don't know much about their respective families outside of everything. Like, we don't know anything about Frost's side of the family or anything about, like, Arthur's side of the family. Like, you don't know if there's more extended family that might have a connection to all this. That might be something that ends up playing a role. But when it's all said and done, the barn like gets burned down because Luke and Willa decide like, okay, we need to. Well, it was more so Willa's decision, but it's like we need to burn down this place because we can't let them get the technology or the machine. And it's like, well, what about Frost? For her, it's like she knows where her dad is and what situation he's in. It's like, no, we don't need to worry about that. That's not my dad's dead and his fate is what it is. So I did like them kind of okay. So when it was all said and all right, so do you have a lighter? And then like it's like okay, we need to burn it. It's like okay, Luke asked Willa, I was like, oh, do you have a lighter? She's like, why would I have a lighter? He's like, what? You have a gun. It's not inconceivable that you'd have a lighter. It's like, oh crap, what are we gonna do? Matches. He's like, good. Do you have matches? She's like, no, I was asking you if you have matches. Why would I have matches? And just that little weird like thing happening. And then it's like, okay, we're gonna use the gunpowder from some of these bullets to light this up. Okay, actually, let's back up a little bit further. And freaking Luke nails it with the shot, dude. Because I was about to say, shouldn't it be Willa? I'd assume she's the one with the gun experience. I mean, I don't know if she actually has any gun experience. Maybe she was just waving around just for defensive purposes, but nevertheless. So that was pretty neat. Also along the same lines, you had the whole Yellow Jacket versus the fake Hollow Sky. We still don't know where a lot of people ended up when this was all said and done. We have Tess. She just disappears. I mean, Tess was planning on making a run for it with her wife anyway to try to have their normal family. Like she said she was in remission. I didn't really take that as truth. I thought she was just saying that to her wife just to kind of make, but I don't know, maybe it was just to ease her wife's mind, but I assume it is a situation of like, well, no, she really is in remission, but I don't remember that coming up, but maybe it's something that I missed or whatever, but I don't know. That's, but she's just up and going, so I assume that's just her whole situation, but we'll have to wait and see. But obviously, Yellow Jacket ended up getting Frost out of there. I'm not too surprised. Like I figured it was going to be a situation. I was like, we're not done with Frost. There's no way. But I love that when he meets up with Ramon, he's like, so are you hurt? He's like, well, I burnt my mouth on some coffee that I got when I was stopping by. And you have Yellow Jacket looking at him like, he's like, oh, bullet wounds? No, I'm good. And then lo and behold, who's awake at the end? Frost. Not surprised. I was thinking, I am curious about the situation because of the way Holden met him. Like I said last episode, that was a question because it's like, oh, are you really Frost or are you something else? And he was like, does it really matter? I'm thinking that was more so like the realm manifesting itself in a form that Holden would recognize. I'm thinking. I could be wrong about it. But along with that, like, could that, because that was something I was wondering too. It's like they possessed every other body in there except Frost's body. Why was that? Was there some kind of like realm node hold on Frost or something? The reason why that happened? Like, is it really Frost that's in there, or is there something else that slipped out? Something that might be even worse than Diego? Maybe something even more powerful than Diego, or is it Frost himself? And when he's come back, will he have abilities like Holden? Will that kind of be something we have to worry about? Because that is the thing, like, where does Hollow Sky stand now? Because you even have Willow being like, no, Hollow Sky's been taken care of, the machine's been destroyed. Frost is back now, that means he can build a machine. But let's not also forget that Borden, or rather Eleanor, has Arthur too, so they could also build a machine. So this whole Hollow Sky situation is far from over, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen, like what they plan to do with Frost. It's like I said, because it's so interesting, because Frost is a character that was completely absent from this entire season. Maybe to be fair, he wasn't a big part of season one. I mean, he was kind of brought up here and there, but it wasn't until like late last season in season one that he actually appeared and kind of made a presence in the story. So I'm curious to see what goes down. Especially because, like, you have someone like Christine backing away from holding hands. Like, she never dealt directly with the whole, like, Hollow Sky situation. Obviously, Helping Hands was connected, but now the Ian's also dead, so that means that's probably going to get a little dissolved. Especially because, Jeff kind of brings it to her attention. It's like, you don't need, because for her, it's like, I needed that because she was like, I'm afraid to let go of that because it's like, if I let go of that, maybe it would mean that I'd end up letting go of Kevin, which is like, you'll never lose that piece of Kevin you're holding on to because, your kid's right there, and that's all you need to remind you of Kevin. So it's like kind of taking what Charlie said last episode. It's like you need to move forward. The past will suffocate you, type of thing. So what's also interesting too is that Luke doesn't know who Yellow Jacket is. He was like, "Who is that guy?" And then you have Willa being like, oh, he's a thug, which I'm curious, does Willa know that he's the one that killed Kevin? Like, I mean, obviously she knows he's kind of a hired gun and stuff like that. Obviously Luke doesn't. That's something Holden probably hasn't told anyone. The only people that know are Jeff and him about Yellow Jacket being the one that killed Kevin. Like, obviously he was arrested brought in for questioning under suspicion of killing Kevin, but that was about it. So, And another question I was wondering at the end of it all too was like, well, what's going to happen to the others, like the other people that were possessed? So it seems that they're not dead. It seems like the things that were in them did leave. I guess when because what I'm thinking of is kind of like a situation of like they're all maybe pieces of the same being. Like when Diego came here, maybe Diego to kind of gather his strength linked to all of them. So the moment Diego went back, they all went back. Or maybe they're all one of the same entity and it's spread across many different. So like maybe part of it creeped through and ended up in Diego's body, while the other pieces of it were on wait. And then like all our pieces are here together again. Like all the creatures whole in this world. Maybe something like that. But then it's like when Diego went back, all the other pieces of them went back. It seemed like they might have been individual beings. Like I said, maybe there is just like a psychic connection or something. But it does seem like the hosts are still alive. I mean, they were in comas and everything. So is it like they're still trapped on the other side of the realm? Did they kind of make it through? Like, is there any remedy for their situation? Because my understanding was, they were just knocked out and put into like cold storage essentially, but it's the way to make it seem like they actually cross over to the realm. Like I thought it was that, but maybe like no, I get the feeling like it is like the former, like they were just knocked out and just put in cold storage. That was kind of my understanding what Tessa's whole deal was. It's like selling the idea of the other side, but maybe they actually did send them to the other. I don't know. Either way, if it's the former, it's like, maybe they'll just wake up given enough time. But if it's the latter, it's like, is there any remedy for that situation? Because like no one has any plans of reopening. Well, at least the main group has no like plans of reopening the realm, because it's like that's going to be a bad idea considering all they've done to try and close the pathway there and put those things back. So, but at the end, you do have Eleanor kidnapping Willa, because I didn't even realize it until like partway into the episode. I was like, right, Willa doesn't know about anything, because the last time she had any contact with her grandfather was through Daniel. It was like Daniel, obviously we know he was a traitor and everything, so that was her last contact with her grandfather. So she didn't really know the situation until she got back home and saw a dead David, because the whole situation was kind of being set up, because obviously her and Luke, it's like, like I don't want to be apart from you, but for Luke brings up, it's like, hold it, it's like they got to figure that whole situation out first before they could ever be a Luke and Willow, which I'm like, they were holding hands when the bar was, I'm like, yeah, everybody like be what I want you to be. I want some Holden and Charlie, and I want Luke and Willow. It's like, come on, do that. But obviously there's complications, and Willa's kind of thinking she wants to move past all of this because Holden was her way of holding on. But she kind of realized something, and it's something I brought up before. It's like their whole relationship was based on extreme circumstances. Like what you had was in the realm, and it was a place full of constant danger, and you try to continue that in this world, which is a little hard considering the fact that at the time, like Holden didn't remember any of the things that went down there. So it's a different circumstance, especially between him and Charlie too. So like, but I thought that was kind of neat that ended up being kind of her realization of it. So, and it almost seemed like Holden was kind of fighting for it. I'm like, no, Holden, let it go. Let both of you just go and be happy. Which even now, I knew it wasn't going to end on that. Well, I thought it would end on a much happier note. Season 1 actually ended on a happier note. I mean, yes, there were like cliffhangers and stuff like that. Especially the biggest cliffhanger was like, what's going to happen to the world next? So no more nightmares, at least for now. So it seems like that is all settled, but we're still walking away from this season with a lot of questions. I mean, obviously where everyone's going to stand when it's all said and done. Also, like now, Tom and Diane know the truth. The sheriff does too, which he's going to cover for all of this. I don't know how the hell you cover for like what went down at the Matthews place, all the people, your cops that were killed. It's like, how do you cover up for that? Like, I don't know. What happens when those people wake up and you're like, yeah, you actually went in and killed a whole bunch of people? I guess it could all technically be blamed on Diego, like he was some crazy person. I mean, his family's gone, so no one's really going to fight you on that, I guess. He's dead at the scene, so that's one way of settling it. Hollow Sky, like I brought up earlier, isn't dead. Whatever, like I said, whatever Frost's situation is going on. And that other group, it's like, once again, Arthur and Frost didn't really know about the dangers of the realm, so they were fiddling with something you don't know, something you shouldn't mess with. Humans should kind of stick to their world and not this world. But that begs the question, like, will Frost still meddle with that world? Like, what happened to him? Because the last time we saw him, one of those things was basically chomping on his face. So either he's back as a monster, maybe human but with powers. We'll have to wait and see. But this other group, they're going to be wanting to get to the realm, but it's like you'll be having Willa be like, no. Because even Tess was kind of like, there's no way Arthur's going to help you. It's like, oh, we'll motivate him. Like, how are you going to do? You found your motivation using Willa as well, as a hostage so that you can get your way. So there's that. Holden, Luke, and Charlie being ones that are in the know about this, like now knowing that, Willa's in danger, are going to be rushing to go save her. But it's like, how big is this group? Are there more people to it? Is Ellen? I don't know if she's necessarily the leader. I feel like there's someone. I don't know. I don't know. She seems imposing, but I feel like she's not like the imposing type. I feel like Frost is very. I don't know. I feel like there's got to probably be someone above her, But I could be completely wrong. Because I feel with situations like this, the bosses rarely go deal with things themselves. So that's why I feel like she's got to be like, whatever group she's a part of is top class, like she's at the top of that rank or something. Maybe she is the boss. Maybe she doesn't mind getting her hands dirty. I mean, to be fair, she hasn't directly gotten her hands dirty this season because it wasn't her who took down Daniel. She gave the orders, but still, who knows? Another question too is like, what about Edgar? Like, we know that he went back to the mental facility that he was in before, but it's like, will we see him in the future or something like that? Like, obviously, like what happened to Holden, Edgar, and Charlie isn't an isolated thing. And there are other people who've gone through that, who will go through that. So does that mean we're going to see more people with the abilities from the realm? Is that something that's going to sprout up more and more? And maybe it's going to be a situation that they get drawn more and more to Fort Reed, or we'll just kind of focus on those three, or at least those two with Edgar. With Charlie and Holden, will we see any more Edgar? I would think so, because Edgar is older and probably knows a lot more about this and about the realm, especially because we have no idea what it is that Holden signed up for when he made that deal with the realm. Like I said, it feels like he's kind of like the realm's champion, because we also have to remember Charlie's vision too. She remembers seeing Holden die, which, yeah, that's still on the table. So whatever the future holds still brings the opportunity for Holden to die, and that's still something that she's holding on to, that she hasn't told anyone except for Edgar. So maybe things have changed because she helped him so he didn't actually die, like maybe he could have during that situation, but I get the feeling that's still an option. But getting back to it, it's like, what about Holden? Like, will the realm ask him to do more? Like, we have to continue for a while keeping the balance? Like, what's going to happen with all of that? Maybe there's times where he's going to have to actually go to the realm and do stuff. Maybe that's something we kind of see in season 3, exploring that more, especially when you have a group, like Hollow Sky, as well as this other group doing that, trying to get open the realm. Maybe there's other groups we have to deal with. So many questions. I also like Charlie's side of things too. Is like her whole situation with Arthur, because this could also mean her potentially helping the guy she hates more so than anything, but she was kind of letting it go. Her and her sister Annabelle, what's going to happen with their situation? Like, I'm sure maybe next season we'll focus a little bit more on maybe what happened to her and her sister. Like, we got a little bit this season about Charlie, but we never really explained what exactly happened with Annabelle. So, like I said, this season we're still walking away with some resolutions, but at the same time still walking with a lot of questions. So at the time of recording this, I don't know if this is getting renewed for a third season. I really hope so, because I'd love to see what they do with a third season, because it seems like, obviously from season 1 to season 2, it feels like they built off of it very nicely, and I'd like to see that continuation of growth, as well as seeing where they would take the story. So, but yeah, that's really all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good